Hello everyone, and welcome to my Days of Lives official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Megan was disappointed that Dimitri was not dressed for his lunch with Gwen in the dimmer living room. "I'm not going," Dimitri stated emphatically. "Do I have to remind you that you won't be 40 for long?" Megan stated. Dimitri sighed in frustration. Dimitri displayed a stack of papers and stated that he has read all of the conditions in the agreement. "Where did you get that?" Megan inquired. "From your quarters, and you left out a few important points," Dimitri pointed out. Dimitri explained that he needed to stay married for a year and that the marriage could not be forged. Dimitri lamented that he had hoped to play the field for a while when Megan questioned if it would be tough to turn on the charm. Megan advised Dimitri to concentrate on his riches. "Isn't inheriting a vast fortune worth being married for one tiny, little year to a wife you don't love?" Megan inquired. As he waved his hand about the room, Dimitri inquired why he needed the money. "We seem to be doing pretty well around here," Dimitri commented. "This may appear to be a mansion, but it's actually a shark pool," Megan explained. Megan observed that the Dunora riches would have to be divided among all of Stefano's children. However, none of them can compete with the von Luschner fortune. "That is all ours, my darling," Megan remarked. "Ours?" Dimitri inquired. Megan confirmed that was her intention when she married Dimitri's father. "You'll be sharing that money with your adoring mother," Megan predicted. Dimitri stated he didn't want to tell the Dunoras anything. When Dimitri lamented about his sacrifice, Megan reminded him that she had made many sacrifices for Dimitri over the years. "This is your chance to repay me," Megan remarked. "And how exactly should I repay you?" Dimitri inquired. Dimitri was urged by Megan to have lunch with Gwen and enchant her. Dimitri agreed with a sigh of resignation. Dimitri was told by Megan to go get his money. "Mother, this is why I adore you. You never give up your dignity," Dimitri joked. Kristen arrived behind Megan when Dimitri left the living room. "What are your plans for all of that lovely money?" Kristen inquired. "Are we listening in now?" Megan mumbled. Kristen inquired once more about Megan's plans regarding Dimitri's riches. Dimitri returned to the living room, dressed for lunch, before Megan could respond. "Now, how am I going to persuade this reporter, whom I barely know, that I'm crazy about her and that she should marry me?" Dimitri inquired. "Are you sure you're going to do that?" Kristen inquired. Dimitri was advised by Megan to employ his regular charms. "What if I just told her why I really needed to marry her?" Dimitri inquired. "Did you forget about the clause? It states that you must be sincere in your objectives," Megan explained. Megan remarked with a sneer that Gwen was longing for love and that Dimitri might find it easy to romance her. Dimitri left when Megan handed him a file about Gwen. "Is your plan already in motion?" Kristen inquired. "You underestimate me," Megan pointed out. Megan was informed by Kristen that she had many opponents in town and that she would require an army to back her up. "And every army needs a commander," Megan pointed out. "Sounds like you already have somebody in mind," Kristen said. Megan informed me that her commander had just arrived in Salem. Gwen was finishing up a reservation for her lunch with Dimitri at the Salem Inn when Leo arrived to the room. "My life is over," Leo lamented. Gwen inquired as to what was wrong. Leo explained that he had gone to see his mother who was imprisoned. "But you despise her for good reason. What made you go over there and see her?" Gwen inquired. Leo revealed that he had spoken with Jada about his mother and realized that he had not visited her since her incarceration. "Did you two get into a fight?" Gwen inquired. "I long ago learned not to contradict Diana when she's ranting." Today's rant was titled, "Why Leo Stark is a Worthless Human Being That Nobody Could Ever Possibly Love," Leo explained. Gwen reminded Leo that Diana was a conniving bitch and that he should not accept whatever Diana told him. "Nobody has ever loved me," Leo confessed. "What about me?" Gwen retorted. Leo stated that none of his previous partners had desired to remain with him. "I feel like there was something between Sunny and me, but then Will came back like he always does, and they made up like they always do, Leo complained. Leo chided himself for pursuing unavailable men. I'm really familiar with you. As a result, I know that everything your mother said about you is simply false, Gwen added. It's simple for you to say. She's not your mother, Leo argued. Gwen sighed, saying she didn't want to compare their horrible mothers. Everything our mothers have said about us is complete nonsense, Gwen insisted. Leo told Gwen he loved her with a tired smile. They needed 2 attractive males to sweep them off their feet, Leo joked. That doesn't happen very often, does it? Gwen stated. I believe that true love is just around the corner for both of us, Leo said. Leo assured Gwen that even if things did not work out romantically, they could always marry. Gwen lifted an irritated brow. Leo stated that he was serious. Why on earth would we do something like that? Gwen inquired. The bridal registry, Leo pointed out. Gwen contended that no one liked them enough to buy them presents. Leo shrugged and stated that he would be watching an episode of the soap opera Body and Soul. When Gwen mentioned that she wanted to prepare for her lunch, Leo urged that she not disclose his name to Dimitri because of the peacock incident. That was him? Gwen inquired. Gwen swore not to mention Leo after he nodded yes. A knock came at the door as Gwen was getting ready in the restroom. When Leo opened the door and saw Dimitri, he was horrified. You, Dimitri replied. Roman informed Kate over lunch in the Brady pub that there were no new leads in Abby's disappearance. How does the mayor of a town just vanish? Kate stated. Roman shook his head. Kate inquired about Colin, but Roman responded that Colin had affirmed that he had no information on Abe. Kate was skeptical that Colin or Sloane had told the truth. Colin is in big trouble. I believe he'd say so if he had Abe stashed away, Roman remarked. Kate insisted that someone had to have assisted Abe in leaving the hospital. Roman, frustrated, said that he intended to assist Steve and John. Harris strolled in as Roman approached the door. I wanted to see if he'd heard anything from Megan Hathaway, Harris explained. Megan had not been heard from since her visit to the pub, when Megan had returned to Salem, according to Kate. I figured I'd keep an eye on Megan. It seemed like the least I could do. But I'm assuming you'd prefer that I just stay away and mind my own business, Harris said Roman. Roman told Harris that he despised what Harris had done, but that he was grateful to him. You saved Katie from Megan and her son, and I will always be grateful, Roman remarked. Roman extended his hand to shake Harris. Harris sat down with Kate after Roman had left. Now that I've returned to Salem, all I have to do is figure out my life, Harris added. Kate offered to pay Harris to get rid of Megan when he indicated that he needed a job. First, let's define get rid of. Do I persuade Megan to leave town, or do we go a step further? Harris inquired. Kate laughed. I don't need you to entertain me with games. You're not going to make me feel bad about myself. Megan attempted to murder me, Kate stated. Kate informed Harris she didn't want to wait to see if Megan was going to finish the job. I just want to have her neutralized first, Kate explained. When Kate revealed the threat to Marlena and Kayla, Harris asked if she wanted to discuss the strategy with her pals. Kate laughed. Neither of them possesses a killer instinct. I'm the only one ruthless enough to handle this situation, Kate explained. You have a killer instinct, but do you want me to do the killing? Harris stated. Kate contended that Harris had previously murdered. I wasn't right up here if you're talking about the jobs I did for Megan. I was brainwashed, Harris confessed. Kate agreed with a nod. But you still have it in you, don't you? You work as a Navy SEAL. Kate argued. You have advanced combat training. Megan, Harris countered, was not an enemy combatant. Kate described Megan's mistreatment of Harris. We both know Megan will be back at it sooner or later, Kate remarked. Why should I or anyone else be paid? Your husband worked as a cop. I'm sure he'd love the opportunity to exact revenge on Megan, Harris contended. Kate said that Roman was a good person who would never murder Megan. Which means I'm just left with you, Kate explained. After a brief pause, Harris emphasized that despite what Megan had done to him, he could not be a hitman. Clearly, you've returned to the side of the angels. The problem is, I'm not, Kate explained. You're going to have to find somebody else, Harris explained. Kate warned Harris not to let Megan lash out at him or hope. Kate begged Harris to consider her proposition. Rafe knocked on Abe's door when he was watching television at Whitley's flat. Abe strained to climb to his feet, but he couldn't find the strength. "Miss King, are you present?" Rafe yelled from behind the closed door. "I know that voice," Abe said quietly. Abe strained to stand once more, but then remembered what Paulina had said about Abe's attacker being dressed as a police officer. Abe's eyes widened with horror, and he sat back in his chair. Rafe finally gave up and left after a few minutes. Abe let out a sigh of relief. "That has to be the person who attacked me. I'm hoping he's gone, but if I don't, I'll have to defend myself," Abe explained. In discomfort, Abe held his head and noted that he needed to wait for Paulina to return home. Abe chose an old episode of the soap opera Body and Soul to watch. On the episode, a lady who resembled Kayla addressed a woman who resembled Marlena. "Charlemagne," exclaimed the Kayla twins. "What do you think you're doing here, Cassandra?" shouted the Marlena duplicate. On the television, the two women scowled at one another with unnecessarily exaggerated facial motions. Cassandra grabbed Charlemagne and shaken him in a blatantly staged battle. The two women fought over a man named Rhett and a rigged election for Woman of the Year. "Is that why they're fighting?" Abe mumbled. "Rhett only loves me," Cassandra explained. "Don't embarrass yourself," growled Charlemagne. The two women debated over whether Rhett had feelings for either of them. "The only reason you were able to get your claws into Rhett is because he had amnesia," Charlemagne explained. Abe's eyes widened. A 2008 news story interrupted the old episode of the soap opera as it progressed. A videotape of Abe speaking to the journalists was shown on the news. "During the course of this campaign, a lot has been said about me and my family. Some of it is correct, some of it is false, and over the next few weeks, I'll separate fact from fiction. But tonight, I want to reassure everyone in Salem that I am dedicated to making life in our city better for our children and their children. I am honored and humbled to serve as your mayor," Abe stated. "That's me," Abe said as he glanced at the TV. "My name is Mayor." Paulina was on the phone at the hospital when Nurse Whitley entered the room. "I think I need to talk to you," Paulina stated. Paulina hung up the phone, thanking Whitley for looking after Abe at the hospital. "I'm only a nurse." "We do that," Whitley explained. "Most people credit doctors with saving people's lives, but it's you nurses who care for people around the clock." "I'm not sure what Abraham and I would have done without you," Paulina replied. Whitley stated that caring for Abe had been a privilege. "I'm just so sorry for all of those terrible things that happened to him, and that awful attacker is possibly the one who kidnapped him," Whitley added. Colin had not taken Abe, Paulina saw. "How does the police know?" Whitley explained. "Yes, they do." "All that matters," Paulina stated. Paulina bemoaned the lack of other suspects and screamed out for her husband. Whitley held Paulina and informed her that Abe was all right. "You can't possibly know that," Paulina countered. "You're correct, I can't. But I'm a believer," Whitley remarked. Rafe walked into the room, and Paulina immediately inquired about Abe. Rafe stated that there was no news. "Then why are you here?" Paulina inquired. Rafe stated that he was there to speak with Whitley. "I just got back from your apartment. No one was there," Rafe explained. Whitley exhaled a sigh of relief. "I also left you a message yesterday, and you never called back," Rafe explained. Whitley explained that her phone had been switched off because she was late on her payments. "What can I do for you, Mr. Commissioner?" Whitley inquired. Rafe indicated that Whitley was most likely the last person to see Ivy before he vanished. "Nobody told me that," Paulina said. "Are you accusing me of something?" Whitley inquired. Rafe shook his head no, then outlined the timeline and details. Rafe inquired of Whitley if she had noticed anything unusual on the floor. Whitley declined. When Rafe asked Whitley if she remembered taking care of Abe, she recalled Abe waking up in the hospital and mistaking her for his wife. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, so please don't forget to subscribe my channel and don't miss any update.